Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Hong Kong Sevens. This one's Samoa versus the South Africans. Looking through at the starting lineups, they are going to be as follows: Paul Eti Slater, Yuna Sioni, Noeli Letufia, Fa'afoi Falaniko, Tom Maeva, Tuna Tuitama, who recently returned into the Rugby Sevens, slowly starting to find his feet, and BJ Lima there as the last man in the Samoan starting lineup. Then for the South Africans, Kua Nokia, Ryan Oosthuizen, Devold Human, Shilton Van Vyk, Selvin Davids, Christy Grovela, and Impi Visa. So two very strong sides. Samoa, they are 0 from 2, so they have lost both of their opening games. And then South Africa, they are sitting 2 from 2, getting themselves 2 wins so far over the Spanish as well as the Irish. Their first 2 games, so glad, also grateful to listen to the great commentary from South Africa, Cape Town. Here's Goldberg there. South Africa getting themselves that win by 14 points over the Spanish. That helped boost up the points differential. Now, Spain were looking to try and get within the 7 for that contest, which actually ended up costing them in the end. And by the looks of it, it is confirmed that South Africa will be through. The Irish are getting close, definitely, if they can get themselves the win over Spain, but whoever loses that game between Ireland and Spain can still be relatively close to making their way through to the quarterfinals, which are taking place a little bit later on tonight. But Selvin Davids, he has made his way onto the field. Looks like Fa'afoi Falaniko has got some heavy strapping on the top of one of his eyes, so hopefully that won't swell up too much for him throughout this game. I expect a fast-paced one because we have seen a little bit disappointing of a start from Samoa. Their discipline has been lacking, and it seemed like they weren't quite all there on day one. It seems like they are ready to go here, though. Last time that these two sides played off, it was Samoa and got themselves a victory. Fiji win 1 from 1, or 1 out of 2. Says Jalotho there. Yeah, they did get themselves a massive win over the Canadians, whereas they just missed out up against the Australians. 12-0 on high all. And Hamish says, Roll, looks like you got a profile picture change. Is that Joe Marler? By the looks of it, Robert. Now the ball's going to be available here, though, for the Samoans, sitting on the 22 at the moment. Fa'afoi Falaniko in the midfield, waiting for this pass from the teammate there. I think that was BJ Lima, I want to say. There are a few guys, of course, on the Samoan side that we aren't used to seeing time after time. Here comes Tuna Tuitama, bumps off Selvin Davids, but he's dragged down by Ryan Oosthuizen. They are going back for the original penalty advantage, which is actually way across the other side of the field. Looks like Tuna Tuitama may have actually taken a knock to the nose here. It stayed down, which is the last thing that the Samoans want here. Time is currently off. I think Oosthuizen, after Selvin Davids got bumped off, may have got a bit of a cheap shot in there on Tuna Tuitama. Looks like he's bleeding from the mouth at the moment. We're just going to see the replay here. Oh no, it's actually his own teammate's knee, I believe, was what ended up connecting with him. Oosthuizen just driving him backwards. But Fa'afoi Falaniko now going to be kicking this ball towards the touchline. Does do just that. Now just inside of their own half here, Samoa. They will be in possession. And Noeli Letufia, the man who will be throwing this ball in. Like I mentioned, South Africa getting off to a dream start in this group, winning both games. That means that they are through to the quarterfinals. And as the Sevens day progresses, we will start to learn exactly who is going to be playing who. But the playoff game started around 10 p.m. New Zealand time. We are hoping to be covering those ones as well. Looks like Tuna Tuitama, is he going to make his way from the field here? Yes, he is. They're actually going to put Malakisi Masifau out there to replace him. So that is another big hit. Unfortunately, Tuna Tuitama has not had the start to this Sevens competition that a lot of people, including myself, anticipated. I thought he was going to be straight back into his work, but he's struggled. He's given away penalties. He's dropped the ball. Now he's ended up taking a knock. The ball is loose. Samoa managed to kick it back across after line-out time. Kicked in behind from Tom Maeva. Looks like he might just about finish second in the foot race. Of course, Selvin Davids is always going to be one of the first men to get to the ball, although it is out the back. Devold Human now going off to this left-hand side. I should mention Ozane Davids in the starting lineup here for the Blitzboks. They have kicked the ball downfield. But Letufia now taking it on the halfway line, passes it across to his teammate. And Fa'afoi Falaniko. Now Masifau Good afternoon, says DJ Shack. Welcome in, mate. And also we have got the South Africa 25, Samoa 24 is the prediction from Jalotho. I don't know whether or not we'll get that high in this contest in terms of the score. I think that it may only be about a 12-5 or a 17-5 type score line, I have a feeling. And that's the thing, both kickers for these two sides have struggled to actually convert, which I think is a slightly non-relevant part at the moment for their game, but as soon as they get to the playoffs and start facing those tough opposition, those points are going to be absolutely crucial. Good afternoon, says DJ Shack, and go the Manu, says Yasu. Ball now going to be fed in by Selvin Davids for line-out time. Thrown over the top. Might have been strategic, though, because it seems like the World Human was already running onto that one. So it might have been a bit of a set play there from the South Africans. Now Selvin Davids tries to chip into behind. He's got Shilton van Wyk chasing after it. He's got too much pace. He scores the try, and that is brilliantly done by Shilton van Wyk, but of course more brilliantly done by Selvin Davids, who he just knew that he had pace on his outside. And we know how much he has himself. Just chips it, sees that Shilton van Wyk was going to win that foot race easily, probably beat everyone by a good 5 metres or so, and South Africa now have themselves a 7-0 lead in this contest. I talk about South Africa in terms of their elusive plays, and that is one of them. Another side that do that quite well is Argentina, although they haven't been trying it as much as of late. And to be honest, before this leg, South Africa kind of went away from that tactic. And I feel like it's a perfect one to get them points on the board when they are desperate for a line break or desperate for that kind of little bit of luck going their way. Kicking behind's probably the perfect way of being able to do that. But they do now lead 7-0 up against the Samoans. But it is going to be kicked off high, slapped back, and nicely claimed there by the Samoans. Now back across to this left-hand side. Little inside ball from Patalisio, who wasn't actually supposed to be starting in this match. I'm not sure who he is on the field for. I know that Malakisi Masi foul. He came onto the field. Oh, this is a yellow card by the looks of Ryan Oosterhuizen. They are going to go upstairs and check this one. Now, we've already seen one South African get a red card. That was Justin Gerald in the first game for South Africa up against the Irish. We're going to see a replay here. Okay, it rides up a little bit, but it was still going to be hitting him in the neck had it not been for Masifau's hand being there. Indirect contact to the head. I believe it's going to be a yellow card and just a yellow card here for Ryan Oosterhuizen. He's the type of player who goes hard out in every challenge that he makes. Unfortunately for that one, the man was already being tackled, so he's slightly lowered, which meant that he tackled him a bit higher than the chest like he wanted. But he will now be off the field for the next 2 minutes. Samoa have got the man advantage. Now they have to try and make the most of it. What about Drua versus Rebels? 2 red cards, number 9 and 18. Says Jaloffa. I mean, it certainly hurt them when Frank Lamani got sent off for that red. I think that, unfortunately, once that second half rolled around, though, the Fijian Drua just seemed to not have that same intensity that they had in that first half. Like, at halftime, they were leading 20 points to 15, and the end score, I can't quite remember exactly what it was, but it was something like 41 points to 20-something, wasn't it, in the end? So, like, they just didn't seem to come out. And yes, those cards didn't help at all, but like 41-20 just says they didn't turn up in that second half. It's a big shot coming in from South Africa, and they do actually win themselves the penalty there, the World Human, and also Christy Rovela. That's the thing. Christy Rovela coming back for the Blitzboks. Perfect timing. So he puts in some massive hits, and they've still got the likes of Impi Visa, Zane Davids, Ryan Oosterhuizen. They don't have discipline, says Jalotho. Yeah, unfortunately, they haven't quite worked out when they're getting penalised. They can't work out how to not give away that next penalty. And unfortunately, that can come down to inexperience a little bit too. Nice run from Selvin Davids. Sells the dummy ball out wide. And a Kieran Nokia runs it in for the try. And South Africa get themselves another one. It's not going to be the easiest kick. In fact, they're going to check this one. Okay, Kieran Nokia if he hasn't finished this one, he went for the X Factor dive. Yeah, he's managed to score it, but if he had made a mistake there and ended up putting that ball into touch, he would have looked like an absolute goose. But luckily for him, he has managed to finish it well, Kieran Nokia, and gets that second try now of the match for the Blitzboks. And Selvin Davids, he is running the show at the moment. That is 2 try assists for that man from the 2 tries that the Blitzboks have been able to score. I can tell you right now, if that man is playing in the quarterfinals, and he is playing as well as he has throughout the group stage of this competition, of the pool play, South Africa are going to be a top contender. Kick from the touchline for Davol Human does not have the legs on it, so the score will remain at 12 points to nil. It looks like Oosthuizen now is allowed to make his way back out onto the field. Of course, South Africa would be topping their group if the pool does stay this way. An Ireland versus Spain, that will determine who finishes second in this group. That is, of course, unless we see a massive comeback from the Samoans in the second half. That was tapped on by Ryan Oosthuizen as Fiji going to play against France. They certainly are. That is at about, I think it's 6:43 p.m. New Zealand time. And that is the next game that we are going to be covering on the channel. Of course, our original plan was to cover a lot more. But I'm actually quite a bit sicker than I wanted to be. And also quite a bit sicker than I was kind of hoping I would be for this weekend. I thought I'd be able to just get through it and keep on going. But yeah, the voice is starting to struggle a little bit. And I'm worried that if I do too many streams before the finals, I'll have like no voice left. And also my throat may just not work, unfortunately. But we're still covering Fiji versus France. We're still covering, I'd like to think, at least 2 of the quarterfinals, involving the South Africans, involving the Fijians, because I believe Fiji will make their way through. I think we're also hopefully going to cover if Argentina or New Zealand make their way through, but there may be 1 or 2 of the quarterfinals that, if they look straightforward, involving those other sides, that is going to be another try to South Africa. A little bit of a bobbling ball there. Samoa trying to deal with it just out from their own line. And the try is awarded. And Mpivisa, the man who has got it. I've actually analysed the game at depth. With a draw or loss, that game is at 10-minute period with 14 men after Rotui Solia was sent for 10 and on report. That was then the catalyst of the bizarre brain explosions by Lamani and Kuroi Duadua. There's DJ Shaq. Yeah, I think that goes down once again to pretty much what I said earlier on, which is once they give away 1 penalty, Fiji find it very difficult not to keep on conceding penalties. I guess that's the more simple way of putting it. You've probably looked a little bit more in depth at it, but yeah, it's pretty much once the discipline starts going, it keeps going. And it's a shame for the Druid, and they also continue their record of winning at home but not being able to win away, which only really puts them in the running for around that 6 to 8 at the most, I would say. We have got there 43 watching, 7 likes. Says Jalofto. Yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back for the Blitzboks quarterfinal matchup that is taking place later on tonight. Also alongside that, we have still got a few other exciting games of rugby coming up. We're hoping to do the Champions Cup as well. After they considered those 3 tries, they really struggled to, like Kiwi Lad said, they were never able to mentally recover and they kept infringing. So here's DJ Shaq. But yeah, the Champions Cup is tonight. The Bulls taking on Leon. We are hoping to cover that one, but more than likely the game that we will be able to cover is Stormers versus La Rochelle. The most unfortunate thing is those games actually overlap, which means we aren't able to cover both of them to the full extent. I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do about that first game, whether or not I cover half of it and then go on to the next stream, or whether I, cover as much to the very last minute before having to switch to the kickoff of the next game. I feel like it was really bad planning because they're the only games that overlap. Out of every contest for the whole Champions Cup round of 16, the only matches that overlap are the ones involving 2 South African sides. So I don't know who planned that, but they need sacked is pretty much the gist of it. But halftime in this contest, at the moment, it is sitting 17 points to nil. In fact, 19, my apologies, in favour of the Blitzboks compared to the nil of the Samoans. You'd have to say that there is a little bit too much ground to have to make up. Hey all, how are we feeling today, Hamish? Tonight, 9:30 p.m. in Colombia, says Neil. I'd be lying if I said I was better than yesterday. The symptoms have actually all got pretty much worse. But we've only got this day and we've got tomorrow of the streaming weekend, and then I can start resting and try and recover before next weekend. Can't sleep, 3:30 a.m. Good to see you here despite your roughness, says Eric. Yeah, that roughness is definitely there. It's hitting me like a ton of bricks, but we're still going. I don't think, to be honest, there's not too many, if they felt like this, who would continue doing the streaming. Oh, that was a bit high from Christy Rovela. But I think that was because Letufia, he is not the biggest man, and he was also ducking down a little bit. I'm just annoyed that I can't also do Super Rugby, because the Chiefs versus Moana Pacifica, I was looking forward to being able to cover that game, but unfortunately, yeah, it's just with the scheduling of the Sevens as well, there's just no time to be able to do it as well, and I don't think I would last for the full 2 hours. Masifao just manages to drive out from the in-goal area of the Samoans there, but they are deep inside of their own territory. Ustays are trying to break Unisioni back into his in-goal area and off his feet. There was a dumb penalty to give away for Nokia, and he's just relieved the pressure for the Samoans. If you see the Drew assistant head coach as their side the coach for the Rebels, says Jalotho. Now Fa'afoi Palaniko has boot that ball into touch. Just talking about the fact that Samoa at the moment, they just have been second best in this contest. As much as they try and attack, the Blitzboks are all over them. Every breakdown, we see one or two of the South African players committing, and they don't seem to be fearing the attack coming back at them. If Samoa can start breaking the line and start creating some opportunities, get some quick legs on the field, they may be able to start making the Blitzboks slightly more hesitant to commit so many men to the breakdown. But for now, it's working so well. Letufia throw this ball in now for the Samoans. It's gone over the top, cleaned up there. Now back across to the left-hand side. Put in the ears back was Paul Eti Slater. Tuna Tuitama. He's returned back out onto the field, and maybe he is the type of injection that they need. Zane Davis straight and off his feet. Penalty will go against the Blitzboks. And that's the thing. When you put the Blitzboks under pressure, a lot of people will agree as well. They start to become ill-disciplined. And that is exactly what we will see when a side faces them in the quarterfinals. They'll try and once again get the Blitzboks giving away penalties, giving away cards. But the benefit is their attack has been so good throughout this competition that it hasn't really mattered that they've been ill-disciplined, because they've still been able to back it up. Oh, someone's boot's fallen off. By the looks of it, it is Nokia. Got the bright pink boots on for today. But yeah, just looking for that pass, but Zane David's got half a hand almost in there on the arm. Stopped it from coming out cleanly. Brian Lehman not happy about what he has seen from his side as of yet. Four and a half minutes remaining. And in this contest, like I mentioned, the next game that we are going to be covering on the channel will be kicking off in around 3 hours and 10 minutes. That is the contest taking place between Fiji and France, and that is the last group stage fixture that is going to be taking place. Ronald Brown now about to feed this ball in for South Africa. Now 25 metres out from their own line, and now he is running to the short side. Has been taken down very early. Counter ruck there from Samoa. I'm liking that. It seems like now they're willing to fight fire with fire, which is exactly what you've got to do up against South Africa. Darren O'Donoghue managed to get himself a try off the bench. One of the previous fixtures in Hong Kong. Oh, that's in off the feet. Ronald Brown's silly play there from the experienced veteran. Well, kind of experienced anyway for Ronald Brown. Now Samoa, another opportunity here. Not many gaps opening up. Trying to get in over the ball, and he's won the penalty back that he gave away. It also looks like he might have injured himself in the process. So maybe a rib. Something along those lines for Ronald Brown. Doesn't look too flash. In fact, they're saying maybe he was rolled out of that breakdown. Like that alligator roll. That is one of the moves that are not allowed in sevens. They may look upstairs to check if he's all right. Yeah, he did a little bit. Yeah, got him rolled there from Paul E.T. Slater. I think this is going to probably be a yellow card, at least here, for Paul E.T. Slater. Samoa, another side that when you put them under pressure, their discipline starts to crumble. Yeah, that could have been really bad for Ronald Brown. There's foul play. Dropped his body weight onto the knee. It's going to be a yellow card for Paul E.T. Slater, but that could have been a lot worse for Ronald Brown, so it is good to see that he is all right. Paul E.T. Slater, he's looking confused. Dangerous clean out, the referee just tried to explain to him there. I don't think he agrees, but yeah, the way that Ronald Brown's knee went, that could have been like a 9-month injury for Ronald Brown, worst case scenario. So it's understandable why he has been taken off the field. Yes, he may not be happy about it now, but if it was his teammate getting cleaned out that way, he would have wanted the other guy sent off the field too. I think that flexibility of the knee of Ronald Brown is one thing that saved him from ending up with a serious injury there. 3.5 minutes remaining on the clock now between these two sides. One moment, I'm just about to snap. We are good. Now the ball available at the back for the Blitzboks. The ball, Human goes across to Darren Adonis, looping around once again. Human gets possession. He goes for the boot in behind. Kua Nokia chasing after it. Batuna Tuitama is back there for the Samoans. Now cutting across the field. He's been taken out late. So it's going to be the penalty advantage in favour of Samoa. And this is going to be another yellow card here. Hello, Hammy. How are you today? Any better or still the same? I'm actually worse, Paddy. So that's not ideal, but yeah, hopefully we get better soon. And bless you, Hamish says Edward. And there as well. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well, mate. Ball available now for the Samoans. Going back across to the right-hand side. Patalacio trying to pin his ears back. But unfortunately, this Blitzboks defense, the way that they defend, they make you think that you are going to be able to get around them and then you just don't. Is it pollen damage? This time it is not. No, unfortunately, I am actually sick. And that's Tuna Tuitama trying to get back up to his feet. Letufea going back across to the right-hand side. Now Sione trying to break through. Another step and he does so, going through Nokia. That sucks. Do get better. Take time to rest. You can get well soon. Stairs, beds ablaze. He gets out of bed, says Neil Harvey. That's the thing. Like I said on the live stream yesterday, it's a sad reality of more people will get annoyed if I don't stream than the amount of people who will get annoyed that I'm streaming while I'm sick. Like, for a lot of people, I am literally just a robot who does the commentary for them each and every week. And to be fair, I kind of am in a way, but like, you know, I've been in bed, I've been resting in between live streams as much as I can to try and get better, but unfortunately with this, it's just more of a case of just waiting until I get better. That kick has gone over from Samoa. They will now make the score 7 points to 19 in favour of the South Africans. Now, I think Paul E.T. Slater is allowed to make his way back out onto the field. South Africa are still going to be playing with one less man on the field. And Papua New Guinea is better than Samoa. If you their game in 2018, 2017, it's been a long time since that, though. Papua New Guinea, of course, trying to break onto the scene. I think they are currently in the top 5 or 6 in terms of the Challenger Series. So whoever is the top of that actually gets promoted into the 7th circuit. So it could be Papua New Guinea. Now Zane Davids sitting 30 metres out. Those people who get annoyed about you not streaming and rightfully have off. Your health is worse. Worth more to us than the stream, says Pads the Place. And write a script and get an AI Hamish to read it. Says Eric, the problem with writing a script though is we don't know what's going to happen in the rugby till it happens, which is the only downside. Let the belly now. Tackle made there for the South Africans. On the South Africans, I should say. Now back across. It's going to be Sean Williams bursting up the middle. He's got too much pace, and I do not think Sepelona. Fiao is going to catch him. And Sean Williams scores the try that will secure the game for the South Africans. Just 20 seconds left on the clock now. I think that will almost be the last play of the day. Behind you is Amy Park. It is not. No, it is Hong Kong. It is the stadium in Hong Kong. Amy Park, a little bit different. If it was Amy Park, it would be this one. See how they've got kind of like the 4 or 5 kind of crevices? Whereas for Hong Kong, they've got the 2 big arches, as you can see there, right across. And that is going to be full-time in this contest, 26 points to 7 in favour of the Blitzboks. But the next game that we have got is in 3 hours and 5 minutes time or so. And that will be the contest taking place between Fiji and France. That is the last group stage fixture that we are covering on the channel. And then, of course, it is the quarterfinals later on tonight. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.